I know it's a tall order, but does anybody have a 100-word summary of what we got up to 2 weeks ago?
We finished clearing out the the Kraken Priest's temple, and
that's what we did.
Played Vanguard and Mass Effect 2. That was fun. The barbarian just charged up into the cultist's face and smashed their dome in. That was fun.
Yeah, I heard you laugh, and I was like, "Ah, good. McDohl doesn't remember either."
I genuinely forgot.
And then the best named NPC ever. He we found him schmoozing with cultists, and then Birdie. Who was that actually killed him? It was Wendy, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Wendy.
I wanted to, but you guys never let me do what I want to do.
I let you go. I was like, all right, Birdie, time to shine.
Found out Bob was in on it.
Right, yeah.
And then you just whinged.
See, I remember. Yeah.
Well, we didn't. Well, we actually found that out the session previous because we found the little kobold that Gu sold to Bob here, and so it's not hard to put 2 and 2 together.
We found out that Handax was actually, I think, a copper dragonborn.
Yeah, we did.
He was dyeing his hair.
Why he did that, I don't know.
I have to do something to amuse myself while writing notes on dozens and dozens of NPCs that never become important.
By the way, Brick Road, I was very much in the middle of a job interview when I gave that donation.
How'd it go?
The reason why I remembered that and brought it up is because I almost forgot the name of the game they were making.
That's not a good sign.
There you go. That's a job.
Yeah, there's your job. There's your dream.
I think I'm looking.
Has gotten so bad.
I am looking forward to working on. Just look at your hand and your notes are all smudged. Game.
I got my current job. I'm pretty sure during the interview they asked, "Why do you want to work here?" And I said, "Because I want to have a job."
Yeah, I've said that in interviews and didn't get hired. It's not a really impressive answer.
I like the honesty of it.
I find that job interviewers are not really into honesty.
Like, why do you want to work here? Because I heard your paychecks clear the bank.
This is a problem in the past.
True.
Your money spends.
And BT Dubs, Raazu is actually alive. Who knew?
Right, and
that I remember.
Before we shanked Handax, he sent a silver coin somewhere. I'm pretty sure that's not important at all.
Nope.
Unimportant.
Not even a
He
little
probably got his message away before we ended him, so yeah. But yeah, they some fishermen drug Raazu's body out of the water and we're gonna burn it, and then surprise, she's alive.
We still might burn it.
It's fine. No, that's absolutely fair. I understand that completely. So I want to take a non-cipher bonus from last week.
What?
Uh-oh. I think maybe you misunderstand what non-cipher bonus
the week
means.
Before. The week before, rather. Yeah, Raazu is at 1 hit point and 5 levels exhaustion, so she's going to need to convalesce for a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that what she was doing?
No, she did something dangerous.
Oh, well, that's not very smart.
But it never never went anywhere, so I'm going to non-cipher bonus it.
Okay, set yourself to 1/2 of a hit point.
Alright.
Oh shit, it's D&D, you round down. Fucked.
Hashtag that's the joke.
What?
I made the comment. I was like, it would be the best way. I think the most amusing way for Raazu to die is if she somehow got that 6th level of exhaustion.
Make my day.
I do have, I am vaguely remembering this happening now, where he's like, I'm going to go out to the bars and get crunk. I do have to get handed to McDohl that I've never before, and I guess I still don't because he's retconning it, but I've never had a player who I have hand-waved their death out of the immense generosity of my heart and had them immediately say, I'm going to go get killed. That takes some real cojones, which McDohl doesn't have because he's retconned it. So. Infinite generosity.
Infinite.
It's not even Christmas.
Yeah.
Alright, so Raazu is convalescing.
Yes.
A lot of what's happening in the Kovnos over the course of the next couple of days is preparations for naming 2 council members. You've convinced the council to add another chair, and you have decided to back Bob and
Tara Ogden.
Ogden. Yeah, you have the characters' names on screen apparently, and I don't.
No, the name just popped into my dome.
Your backing this move has a little bit of an effect amongst the populace, especially considering how much work you guys did in the immediate aftermath of the tidal wave. But what really kind of clenches it is with your backing, Captain Eyes and his wealth and reputation in the Kovnos make a big show of backing this move as being a very forward-thinking move for the council. And there is some grumblings amongst various kind of unsavory types, low-level crewmen and whatnot, that, I mean, opinions are very mixed. On the one hand, those crewmen who kind of spend a lot of time in the Kovnos, those who essentially live here full-time, who've either decided to not take on with another crew or for whatever reason, see this as a very positive change. But you have to remember that a lot of these crewmen only take shore leave here, and this particular decision doesn't benefit their individual captains and ships.
Still, they're
Good.
part of this society, so...
And that's kind of their grumbling, is that it is moving closer to being like an actual society and less of just being like a pirate's hideaway. Instead of being a place viewed where, like this lawless place where anything goes and everyone's equal, which it never really was. It's becoming more like a real city.
I mean, it became a real city the moment people decided, hey, I'm going to live here.
It became a real
I'd say it
city.
became a
when they
real city
decided
as soon as they decided to outlaw weapons.
to have leadership, like a discrete leadership to the place. That's when it started. That's when it became a city.
Well, most pirates aren't against leadership. It's just they're against leadership that's not their own ship. They're against your leadership. My leadership's fine. My captain's great.
Well, as that song once said, can't always get what you want, but sometimes you might find we get what you need. Yeah,
Nobody's ever heard
What?
of that song.
What's that?
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let me. Oh, I don't have a scratch document open here. I need a scratch document so I can draw pictures of penises.
So,
Scratch
Of course.
marks, huh?
You guys can just do it right on the table. I actually have to open Photoshop.
yeah, okay,
That
good.
sounds like an invitation.
I'm not going to be so crass. I'm not going to be so crass.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
crass. No,
Here
I'm
they come.
Here he goes.
So what is Birdie doing over the course of these couple of days?
So before we get started, I got to ask everybody else a question because to
Yeah.
get on the same page. So, are we still going to go murder Bosun Bob? And second, are we going to tell the captain that I forget his name, the guy that everybody hates on the ship? Like, are we going to tell him that he was the traitor? Because it'll get Glue killed, thrown overboard too, probably, and that makes me happy. But like, I need to know what we're doing.
I mean, Red was planning to sneak off in the middle of the night and investigate Bosun Bob without talking to anybody, so...
That doesn't sound like you.
That doesn't sound like that. That's not red at all.
No, it's investigate. Is that like a covert term for stab in his sleep?
Possibly.
Okay.
Depends on how the investigation goes.
I mean, we've
So-
already done the investigation.
So what kind of lodgings are available for Raazu at the moment?
You have the boarding house, which took some damage during the tidal wave, but is still open for business, or you have your room aboard the Deceit.
Did they let her back onto the Deceit?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm.
Let's just stay in the.
Raazu, do you want to go on the Deceit? I can get you on the Deceit.
Well, I would prefer that way. I could get my equipment at the very least.
You and I, we'll go to the Deceit. You and me. I'll get you.
Okay.
I'll get you into the sick quarters and take care of you, and be all fine.
So what physical changes has Raazu undergone as a result of her transformation through death?
Can you come back to me on that question?
I asked you that question 2 weeks ago. We've had
Did you?
14 days. I might have asked it of you over Discord.
Give like another quick week.
You know what? This is why I don't like talking about D&D outside of Sundays, because I forget what I said and when. Well, now you only have 5 minutes to think about it instead of 14 days.
All right, then.
Okay. So, Red, what are you doing during the day before you go to sneak over to Bo's and Bob's?
I think Red's actually just gonna take an opportunity to rest in the flop house.
Okay.
Just so you know, Birdie would go with you if you wanted backup on that, because he's bored, and bad things happen.
What's Birdie doing during the day?
I'm just gonna tinker and make a trap, I guess.
Okay. So resting?
Yeah.
And what's Windy doing that day?
I think what we were going back to. I think Wendy's going to be. What's Red doing today?
Resting.
Resting? Alright, I'll be resting too then.
Okay. There are... Okay, traveling back to the Deceit, Raazu and Adrex.
Mm-hmm.
Yashnars goes with you. He views what has happened as being miraculous.
Yeah.
And he seems very disturbed by it.
Oh, what's the? Share your thoughts, Yashnars. I'm it's pretty distressing for me too.
And he grunts and he tells you that he saw your lifeless body. He was there when it was dumped overboard. He saw the grievous injuries. There was no life left in you.
I just saw the only thing I saw was the pirate's blade go through my chest, and then nothing for what seemed like years, months, years, long time, and then I saw what I think was Osprey.
And then he grunts again and says no more on the subject. How does Adrex view this as a man of science?
Man of science.
Weirded out.
Okay.
Is that a scientific term?
Yes, very much.
Weirded out is a good description of how other members of the Deceit, other crewmen, when they learn about this return,
I mean, no doubt.
you don't have any difficulty getting back aboard the vessel, but you're almost immediately intercepted by Rhodos, the wizard, alchemist, and thaumaturge.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to
really
subject you
has to
to
rest,
all
Rhodos.
kinds of examinations and tests.
She really needs to rest.
Can it
Rhodos.
wait until I've gotten my strength back? Maybe we're underway again?
And Rhodos looks you up and down and As to the point of getting your strength back, wouldn't you say most of the job is already done?
Adrex considers that point.
Mathematically speaking, perhaps.
He's kind of got you there.
So Raazu, where do you put Raazu? Because remember, she bunks with Ned Noakes.
Oh, Adrex is going to take her to the surgery?
Infirmary.
Okay.
Yeah. Surgery / infirmary / medical office / whatever else.
Nodal, you know the most satisfying thing for me playing through the Return of the Obra Dinn
Yeah,
was the validation that I got like 80% of my nautical terms right when I labeled this pirate ship.
Nice.
No, it's really good. The only thing that keeps bothering me on your label of the pirate ship is the fact that it says forecastle rather than forecastle.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I keep editing it.
They also spell bosun differently, but they put it in parentheses, but like an alternate spelling was the one I use. I'm like, okay, so I got that right enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Like the way you would look at the word bosun, like on paper, it says boatswain or something like that.
Right, but that's not how
nobody
they
says
spell
boat-
it in Obra Dinn.
No, that's not how anyone says it. That's not how anyone says it.
Yeah, boatswain is how I learned to spell it. So,
Yeah.
everybody can go ahead and take the benefits of the long rest.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll my d20. One of these days, man.
I'm assuming I didn't come back with any
Not today.
any points of lay on hands.
Do you want to? Do you? When you're done learning cooking, do you want to take lessons from Birdie?
No. Yes.
No, your long rest returns you your lay on hands and whatever else.
But okay.
Bless you, sir.
Sorry,
Can Adrex
I
try and
tried to
attempt to
mute the
learn the
microphone
rune?
but didn't get there fast enough.
Can Adrex try to learn that rune? With his 5% chance.
Okay, I have a question. Are
Which
you trying to
rune?
learn the spell or the Adrex rune?
Refresh my memory. Which rune?
Learn how to write Adrex.
The the hell did you call it? It's not elemental weapon force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're just looking for your 20?
Yeah.
Come on, come on. Nope.
Do the maximum hit points from the evil daggers come back on a long rest?
Yes, they
Okay.
do. Anybody who's missing hit points because of evil daggers. So how many of those evil daggers do you guys have, and in whose possession are they?
Red has 1.
Most
Blue
of
has
them.
6.
Wu took most of them.
Also, Goof still has most of them?
What?
Okay.
Did that really? Okay.
Now, this is going to come in handy when you're going to have to fight Noakes and his bugbears.
Yeah. I'm excited. Can't wait.
So, Red, what is the plan for tonight?
I'm going to. All right, yeah. Let's bring Birdie along. We're going to sneak over to Bo's and Bob's,
Okay.
break into his place, find any and all records, examine them, and then decide where to go from there.
Like, I'm going to argue with you on this. It's like we already saw like proof that he's selling slaves to be sacrificed here. It's like because we, the
They may have
slave.
been purchased through an intermediary. Like he might not actually know that.
I very clearly remember the Kobold saying that he was brought down by Bose and Bob specifically.
Did he say that?
Like, I very clearly remember saying that. Even if he didn't, I'm saying that I remember it.
I don't remember that.
But I do actually remember that happening, yes.
But at any rate, Red at least wants to get his hands on the records before he assassinates the guy.
Well,
Okay.
that does make sense because we got to have proof if we get caught. So, yeah, okay.
Why would you plan to get caught?
I'm not planning on getting caught. I just... Did you plan on getting caught when you were... when you fell asleep?
No.
Like, exactly.
Okay.
Still think it'd be easier just to stab him in his sleep, though.
So here's the grounds. Bose and Bob. You can just kind of pretend like this whole front area here lines up with the docks of the Kovnos. So he has a pretty decent-sized manor house in the Kovnos where he lives. Also on his grounds, he has a barn out back where he keeps personal livestock. And then beyond that, trees are cleared away to make rooms for, I don't know, a couple dozen acres of various fields.
Is there a dorm or something where the servants are kept? Where the slaves?
Not here in the manor, no.
Okay.
Back out in the fields, they would have their own structures.
I mean, I have a
So what
sort of
kind of
idea.
reconnaissance would you have done, if any?
Well, I think before the light went out, Fred would just scout the area out and see if there are any obvious patrols of guards or anything like that.
Okay.
And then at night, he would mostly just stay in the shadows of the surrounding trees and follow to see lights inside the manor house to see if there's anyone awake and when they go to sleep. Is Bose and Bob a human?
Bose and Bob is human.
Okay.
He has a manservant who lives in the house with him, like a personal steward. Name of Fenizin.
Mm-hmm.
Fenizin is a gnome. One of the few gnomes you've personally laid eyes on. Well, you've seen quite a few in the Feywild, I wouldn't think.
Shit.
So the story of Bob is many years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, he had a young daughter who died of illness. Other than that, everybody has pleasant dealings with him when they're not having to work for him. Nobody wants to be working in his fields, but his fields are necessary. They keep the Kovnos in various grains and plants and snuff and tobacco that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Does he have enforcers for working out in the fields in addition to the indentured servants?
Not as many as you would think for the amount of acreage he has to cover. He has 2 ogres that taskmasters.
Okay.
But they also don't stay on his grounds. And it's pretty well known in town they're not welcome inside the manor. And they tend to keep out to the fields or tend the barn if need be. Watching the house, you've walked past the manor quite a few times over the course of your stay here, and day or night, you always see the flicker of light inside the main room windows, which would be here and here.
Mm-hmm.
Did those come out? Yeah, there they go. So, Red and Birdie, go ahead and place yourself where you want to approach from.
So, if you want, I can distract the guy by knocking on the front door. I'm good at being a distraction.
I'd rather nobody know that we were here.
Okay.
If this goes well.
If it doesn't, you'll just get arrested and probably have to work out in his fields. Alright, so what's next? The sun goes down. There is still quite a lot of noise and sound because, again, the busy docks are just right up outside here. But you've watched Fenizin kind of batten the place down for the night, take the last load of firewood inside, tend to the animals in the barn for the evening, make a trip to the outhouse over here, and then head back into the house through the back door.
I will say that he's got a gnome, so that's all the indication of guilt I need.
When you plead this case to the council, is that what you're just going to keep saying?
Yeah, he employs a gnome.
I'd like to slip up and look in through these bedroom windows.
Okay. They're shuttered. They're closed.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see any light from inside the slats.
While we were over here, was there any light coming out of these slats? Out of this one? Is this one shuttered as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I open the shutters from this side?
Not without whoever... If anybody's on the other side of the window, you wouldn't be able to open it without them knowing it.
This is a one-story house?
Yes. Because it's dark, but there is moonlight. So if you open the window, the room would be illuminated, and they'd know you're out there.
Is there any visible light coming out of this window on the far end?
Probably a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, Birdie, do you have like a cloth or something?
Probably.
Can we cover the window and then open it?
I don't know if I've got one that big.
You need one pretty large, because they would have to cover the opening motion of the shutters.
Like the largest piece of cloth that I have is my cloak, and I'm not taking that off. Thank you.
Okay.
A cloak would work if you weren't a kobold.
Also, yes, I'm a kobold. You have a cloak.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Let's get a stealth check from both of you. Red, make yours at disadvantage, because you're going to be standing in front of an opening window.
That was almost a 1, but not.
I'm assuming Birdie is not standing in front of the window.
That's
No.
14.
14?
Mine is 17 plus. That'd be a 28.
28. All right. Let's load in some ogres. Red, you drape the cloak over the window so that the moonlight doesn't stream in, and crack it open enough to get a view of the room. And it's a very nice bedroom. This is Bob's personal quarters. In fact, you see him sitting in the corner here, working on something on his desk by candlelight, going over some kind of ledger or paperwork. And he seems to keep nodding off. Like, you keep seeing his head kind of droop, and then he catches himself. Along this wall, you see his dressers, chest of drawers, the back table here. And then he has a closed closet door over on this side of the room.
Mm-hmm. I will quietly close the shutter and whisper to Birdie, he's still up, we should wait.
Okay.
How long do you wait?
I was going to wait for half an hour.
Okay.
And then do it again.
And when you check, after another half an hour, you see Bob is face down on the desk with one of his hands kind of curled around a tankard.
Mm-hmm.
And he's snoring softly.
I'll nod to Birdie and open the window and slip inside.
Okay.
I'll follow him.
You come inside and make a special care not to create sound on the wooden floors.
Is there anything here that's obviously filled with paperwork?
Part of this shelving here has what looks like ledgers and scrolls.
Is there a latch or anything on this door? A bar or anything?
No, there's not.
Is there any way I could jury-rig it with my thieves' tools not to open? From the other side?
Make a thieves' tools check at disadvantage. Well, let me ask. Are you trying to make it so the door cannot open? Or are you trying to make it so if the door starts to open, you'll notice right away?
So it cannot open.
Okay. That's going to be a... You could make it so they couldn't open it using the handle, using the latch. But, I mean, failing that, they could always break through it. You're not going to be able to make the door indestructible.
Yeah,
So, make that thieves' tools check. Make it a disadvantage.
+8. So that would be a 22.
Okay. You rig the tools. Get out your tools and rig the latch so that with typical human or gnomish strength in this case, they wouldn't be able to open the door. They'd have to break it down.
All right, let's start looking through this paperwork.
Okay, what's Birdie doing?
I'm just watching I'm watching him. Getting ready to.
I'll motion over towards the closet door. Birdie, check the closet.
Okay. I'll go open the closet. Very carefully open the closet.
Okay. And the door creaks slightly, and you adjust and course correct and kind of inch it open. And you slip inside. So on this south side of the closet here is his wardrobe, shoes, coats hanging up, folded breeches, and on the other side is a safe.
Ooh.
Metal lockbox.
It's
Red,
a safe
make an
room.
investigation check.
Yep. I am particularly looking for any records dated the day that crewman was brought in.
Okay.
That's an investigation of 12.
So you look through some of his books. You find financial ledgers. You find like stacks of promissory notes that he gives out to ship captains when dealings. You find transactions of various foodstuffs going in and out, and eventually you come across a ledger filled with names, people that he's taken on. Most of this ledger, I mean, it's marked with past workers. Most of these were sold back into service aboard some ship or another, some captain needing the extra hands, or whose term was up. They had completed working off their servitude and were released. Looking up Nem, in particular, you see the date where Gwu brought him in, which was only a few days ago. And then...
I figured it'd be like half a week ago at this point, but okay.
It's been 4 or 5 days, I think.
Yeah, that seems right.
I could be wrong.
I thought you said 2. No, I thought you said 2. Never mind.
People like making fun of me on YouTube, so maybe someone will go to the YouTube and be like, Brick Road's dumb. I went back and it was only 6 hours. Come on. However, some workers do die while in Bob's care. Sometimes due to accidents, sometimes due to overzealous ogres. Nem is marked as having died in service. Cause of death is ill stomach.
How many others are marked as ill stomach over the last, I don't know, let's say, month?
And flipping back through, over the last few months, you do find several names. What languages do you speak?
Red speaks. Tab. Jeez. There we go. Red speaks Common, Abyssal, Draconic, Sylvan, Giant, Southling, and Yuan-ti.
Okay. Knowing Draconic and traveling as you have with Birdie, you do recognize a larger than you would expect percentage of these names being kobolds.
Mm-hmm.
Make an intelligence history check at advantage. Birdie, what are you doing?
I am picking the lock on this safe.
Sure you are. Make that check. Dexterity Thieves Tools.
Safe mimic.
That would be a history of 11.
11.
Safe.
Both in Mimic.
Looking at some of the other names, not all of the names marked ill stomach are kobolds, and not all of the deaths are marked ill stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get with this ledger.
To 19.
19. And Red, you hear a distinctive click coming from the closet as Birdie pops this safe open. And Birdie, you look inside, and it's all of Bob's money and treasure. He's got gold and silver in here.
I'm sorry.
Promissory notes.
I heard you say all of Birdie's treasure.
Are you taking everything?
Yeah, stuff and filled in my bag.
You can't carry it all.
Well,
this is an enormous amount of coins.
The Keelian problem.
well, fine.
I'll bring the ledger over to Birdie.
Okay.
And I'll look at it.
See, so Nim is listed as ill stomach. As
Birdie
dead.
nods. Birdie nods and says, "Okay, now we stab him."
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, well, I think we have to.
All right. I'm gonna held action to stab him when Red stabs him.
So how is this done? You're both just gonna
We're gonna
Just
shank
gonna
him.
slit his throat.
reach around and murder
Yeah.
most foul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
and
it most foul? Is it most foul?
Bob startles awake as you start dragging the blade across his neck, and he realizes what's happening. He opens his mouth to cry out, but he can't because you're slicing his throat. And his
And
eyes
that's-
get real wide, and after just a few moments, his blood spills on the desk, and he slumps forward. And he does not move anymore after that.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. Birdie, what are you doing?
He points at the treasure. He's like, "We're already here."
I'm gonna take an inkwell off his desk, dip it in his blood, and circle a few names with ill stomach on the ledger, and leave it sitting there.
All right, Batman, you do that.
And then I'm gonna say to Birdie, "Do you really want to make this look like some sort of smash and grab robbery? It should be obvious that he has been selling people out to the cult. We have enough treasure back on the ship."
But we
Come
should get paid for our good deeds. No,
Do you leave the safe open or close it?
I'll close it.
All
But
right.
yeah,
I would like to congratulate Red on being the first rogue in Dungeons and Dragons in history to say the sentence, "We have enough treasure." Never heard that before.
And yeah, make our way out into the shadows.
I wasn't
Alright.
aware there was enough treasure.
Mark Keelian is aghast.
Keelian's just like, oh
He just-
my god.
he just shivers and is like somebody walked over his grave.
I mean, Keelian hasn't been born yet, but somewhere his grandma just had like a weird spasm.
I like to picture that Keelian's grandma is the nicest woman you've ever met in your life.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
probably.
she's an Azamar.
Azamar, yeah.
Like, Keelian's the first Azamar ever who was a dick.
Really? The first one who was a dick? Dick is subjective.
I mean, they're
Raazu's-
angels, so they're kind of preachy, but Keelian was kind of murdery, too.
Only
so yeah,
angels ha-
So you don't take the ledger, you circle the ill stomach names in blood, and you leave?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying, Keelian was righteous in his own way.
Just double checking Red's alignment here. Yeah, it says good. Okay. Well, we'll square
Right,
that
he
later.
was just super good right there.
I mean, he did a good job, so.
You never ask me my alignment when I kill a cultist, when I just shoot a guy from the other side of the room.
What is that, a double standard on my part?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like,
Should I be keeping
in the
track?
world of D&D, murder isn't necessarily an evil act.
You'll have the chance to make that case at the end of the session. And yeah, the next morning, the town is abuzz at the news that Bosun Bob was discovered dead in his office. He had his manservant, the gnome Finizen, and I give him a whole NPC like stat sheet and everything just in case you guys snuck into his room. Had to call one of the ogres in to break the door down to get in. Apparently the murderer snuck in a back window in the middle of the night, and that's as far of the story as you guys hear out in town. Somebody killed Bob, and everybody wants to know who. This is a huge blow to the community. It kind of goes against the entire tone and direction that things were moving in. A lot of people think he got what he deserved. Because, yeah, I did my time in Bob's pumpkin fields. All I did was snuck 3 extra rations of grog without telling the quartermaster, and he sold me off for 20 silver. Had to work out there for 2 months. I'd have slit his throat if I had the chance. There's a lot of that going on in town, too. But there's no word of a blood-filled ledger having been found.
It's fine with Red.
Birdie, there's also no word of all of the treasure being made off with in the middle of the night. Of an incredibly skilled burglar plying his craft and making off with...
Like We could have gotten paid for the good deed.
Not having people sold to Kraken cults is payment enough.
So, Wendy, you hear this news,
Yeah.
and you're immediately not surprised?
Wendy was thinking, well, I was going to go tomorrow night, but
I don't think anybody is surprised. Like, even Adrex is. This is my shocked face.
So, Raazu, you can go ahead after the rest. You can go ahead and spend your hit dice, use up your lay on hands if you want, and remove 1 level of exhaustion.
So
The
here's
only
the thing, though, is I have lost 1 level of exhaustion, but the hit dice that I used put me up to my current maximum hit points, which is halved because I still have 4 more levels of exhaustion.
Coming back from the dead is rough, man.
It is. It really is, yeah.
Unless you're a godsman, then it's just immediate with no consequences.
Except Badger.
I love the idea that like the only thing that everybody's surprised about was that nothing was stolen. That's going to be my defense about how I was not involved.
Yeah,
By the
everybody is very... I mean, again, you get a lot of different conflicting stories. Everybody has an idea of who might have done it. But yeah, that's a big talk, is who would slit Bob's throat, but then not make off with his gold. He's known to be one of the wealthiest men in the Kovnos.
So what's going to happen with this vacuum? Like, what happens to the indentured men?
Who are you
They all.
making this inquiry of?
Mm,
You are with Yashnars and Adrex right now.
yeah, that's true.
Captain Eyes, also aboard the ship, most of the time anyway. Rhodos, Captain Eyes, and who else? Runthiel comes back to the ship very early, actually. Looks like shore leave is not particularly palatable to her. She went, she did what she needed to do, she got back aboard. And you can start to see preparations are being made for the deceit to be underway shortly, within a couple of more days.
Yashnars wanted to go do hunting rangery things at some point. Have we done that yet?
You haven't,
Okay.
but now he's a little preoccupied with zombie hobgoblin crawling up out of the depths, a thing he
Okay.
thought would be completely impossible.
How detrimental is not getting what he needs?
Do you ask him?
Yeah.
He thanks you for reminding him. He tells you that, yeah, we should probably see to this task before we're underway. Raazu, he has a kind of regiment of medications you should be doing. Make
Yeah.
sure that... I mean, he doesn't have any particular reason to believe that Raazu will just kind of lay fallow. He knows that she'll make sure she does what she needs to, but particular medications that he wants you to see to. He actually shows you how to dress and change the bandages over the injury that killed you.
All right, so what I'm picturing is that she has a very large stab wound just above the navel,
Okay.
and all along, going from her right shoulder down to her left side, are these huge bite marks from what looks like would be a shark or something.
Okay.
She's gonna have those scars forever.
Before you guys leave, Yashnars takes Adrex aside. He says he's going to ask the captain to put a watch on the surgery while the two of you are gone. Make a religion check.
Just want to let you know, I have not had a single character that was good with religion. That is a 14.
14?
I'd say.
Did I hear that right? 14?
Yes.
Okay.
14. Because religion is intelligence. It's just the dumbest thing they've ever done.
Well, religion is like looking up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, intelligence religion is... Yeah, the religion skill is about like knowing the religious rights.
It's a knowledge
facts.
religion check.
It is a knowledge check, yes. Previously, you've seen Yashnar's be anxious about the dead coming back as zombies and such. That's not what's eating him right now. Something is very weird with the way he's reacting to Raazu coming back. He's not worried that she's going to turn into a zombie and start eating people. But he clearly doesn't trust her to not be under watch. So he says he's going to stop by the captain's quarters and have the captain order a watch while you two are gone.
Adrex, can you do me a favor while you're out and about?
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Go into town and see if you can find. What? I don't know. Raazu looks like she's not really sure where to proceed. Where she? You know what? I'll take care of it in a day or two. Never mind.
No, you're recovering. What do you
I'll
need?
take care of it. I'll take care of it in a day or two.
Okay, fine. You take care of it in a day or two.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the watch. All right. Yeah, put someone... Because that's what Adrex is thinking. Adrex is thinking if someone's watching her, she can't actually go out and do what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Which is true.
Is Raazu aware that Yashnars is having her watched?
No, Yashnars doesn't bring it
No.
up with you at all.
Okay. Then what would happen if she were to try and go out onto the deck and have some fresh air?
You have no idea. It hasn't happened yet.
Do you still have a 0 movements?
So you guys
Nope, speed is not reduced to 0.
go to speak with the captain. And the only other soul aboard the ship who could do this task, really, would be Runthiel, the fucking hammer. And you guys load into one of the longboats and head back to shore. Make a nature check.
Nature check. That's my nature check song.
Was it?
Good
I
song.
enjoyed it.
That's a
14.
good song.
14?
14.
And you spend the better part of the day with Yashnars collecting the various herbs and medicines and things that he needs. What is Windy doing today?
I think I'm going to finally cash in on some of that spice buying, go find Sweetie Bird, and do some cooking.
Okay.
Gonna get some good ass cooking done.
Now, what kind of cooking are you expecting to do? Like, are you going to drag her back to the ship, back to the kitchen?
I mean, honestly, we might be able to get some like more exotic stuff going on in town.
Okay. So you get a cook fire going somewhere in the middle of town, and
Yeah, I
Alright.
think maybe like we could get some spirits up. People rebuilding the town.
you tell immediately that with all that's happened, with the tidal wave and you guys going out after the cult and Captain Eyes being called in by the council, you can immediately tell that Sweetie Bird was hoping that you'd forgotten about this aspect of the deal.
Yeah,
And we're going to let it slide.
yeah. I can see why she would think that. Unfortunately,
Go ahead and make a... Is there even a cooking check? Is cooking
Yeah,
a
it's
skill?
cooking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and make that cooking check. Make it at advantage.
Sure. Tabletop simulator crashed.
That's nice.
You want me to roll for you then,
That
Nodal?
happens.
Sure.
There's no cooking check.
Well, I mean, it's cooking tools, which I don't
Yeah.
have.
Oh, okay.
Cooking tool
Yeah,
proficiency.
you're right. Cooking tools. Make that check. Make it at advantage because.
Oh, you got a 15 on
What
die.
attribute should I call that?
How are you going about your cooking? Are you trying to apply what you've learned? Are you trying to? I would say you could apply either intelligence or intelligence, wisdom, or dexterity.
I think. I'm trying to decide whether, because I'm not going to do intelligence. Let's be honest here.
Dexterity
Just be
would be
honest with our
more
lives.
because you're kind of making it like a public performance.
Yeah,
thing.
I think that's
you're doing
the
like a
sort of
hibachi
thing that's
kind of
going on
thing.
here. Yeah. I'm
Bring
back,
your
by the
own
way.
flavor to it.
I gave you this 15.
Okay, so that's 19.
Okay. And are you selling this food to the people?
Sure, why not? Let's make this like a big street sort of thing.
Okay. Go into Xanathar's.
Yeah.
And use the downtime action rules. I think it's just called work in
All right.
Xanathar's to see how much you can earn.
Probably very
Just
little.
apply the rule that you've already made.
All right. I'll find that while you
Okay.
look up other stuff if you want. No need to wait for me.
Oh, I actually just use you to stall so I could get a rune going.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay, never mind then.
I'm a skilled DM.
Downtime activities.
I know what's
work.
going on. Raazu,
I see my ways. I just talk
Hey.
slowly.
there is. You're in there convalescing. How heavy are you going on the medicine?
I'm following Yasnar's instructions to the letter,
Okay.
and going a little stir crazy, even from just one day.
There's still quite a lot of pain from the wounds. It was like when you first kind of snapped open, when you first kind of woke up, so to speak. You felt mostly numb, but it's kind of like now the feeling is seeping back into your body. Now that you've had like a good rest, you're starting to feel the wounds kind of worry at themselves. Nobody. Why does everybody want to open a URL? The door opens, and a very sleepy Runthael walks in. Raazu has not had any encounters with Runthael yet, has she?
Nope.
So what is Razu's outlook on Runthael? Runthael is a Dwergar. She's a dark dwarf. And she's
Runthael
known
is
amongst the
probably-
crew as the fucking hammer.
Runthael is Raazu's probably kept a wide berth of her because she works the night shift on the ship, but she seems pretty divorced from the rest of the crew. So Raazu's just kind of let it be. As long as she's working on something, Raazu has no problems with her. But
Yeah, she is most active at night, but she's the ship's carpenter. So when things need done during the day, you've seen her active during the day as well. Sometimes she's just needed to do something. Someone needs to get into her shop for some reason. She walks into the surgery, and you can see she's sleepy. You can see you've never seen her make a social call on anyone the whole time you've been aboard the ship. And she looks at you, and she looks relatively aggrieved. She says, "The captain asked me to look after you. Are you up to anything?"
Raazu is a little surprised because I'm pretty sure she doesn't speak to anybody, huh?
She does
Never seen
speak, usually only about her work. And right now, it sounds like the captain has given her the task of guarding over you.
Raazu shakes her head and says, "No, I'm fine. I was gonna see if it was possible for me to get up on the deck for a little while today and get some fresh air."
She motions to the wounds across your chest. The stab wound. She says, "I saw you take that to the gut."
I think that's the one that killed me.
She says, "I saw you die."
Yeah? I think I saw that too. It's really hazy.
And yet you awoke.
Raazu looks down at her right hand where the new Osprey symbol is. Says, and yet I'm here. I don't understand it myself.
She reaches up and unclasps her cloak and kind of shrugs it off. She turns around, and in between her shoulder blades, underneath her neck, you see this rune. And she simply says, "Me as well."
Raazu looks at her hand, then at the symbol she's got, then back, and she holds up her hand and traces the top portion right here, and she says, "I've seen 2 other people with this part of the rune like this."
And she pulls her cloak back up and clasps it, turns back around, and she says that is the mark of her ladyship. And she will ask something of you.
Her ladyship? You mean Ostrom?
And she shakes her head. She says, despite the surgeon's rituals, there is no Osprey. There is only Her Majesty, and you will come to know her as I do. Then she opens the door of the surgery and she says that if you were to go on deck, it would make guarding you more difficult. She doesn't fare well in sunlight. But she won't motion to stop you.
I just need a few minutes and then I'll come right back down.
And after that, you find Rinthiel a lot less chatty. She leaves the room and stands outside the door. And that's about it for her. What else did you guys want to accomplish in the Kovnos before the deceit is underway yet again?
I think Red's done everything he wants to.
Okay.
I mean, the ship has sailed on what Birdie wanted to do.
Well, the ship hasn't sailed yet. It's about to.
Got him.
Adrex, how was that nature check?
Didn't we do that already? I think I said it was a 14.
Okay. So by sundown, you've returned to the ship, having gathered all of the things on the Ashnars' list. Wendy, how was that?
That was a 19. There's no actual... You don't make money. You just make a lifestyle. So I'm not too worried about it.
Oh my goodness. You have to ruin everything, Nodal? Every week? All the time?
Listen, this isn't my fault.
Is there one for performance?
This is one for Xanathar.
Like I said, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Like, what are we going to make? Like 5 silver? Like, who cares? This wasn't for the money.
Whatever you make, Sweetie Bird pockets it. How about that?
Yeah. There we go.
And she's just going to piss it away on frivolities anyway. Okay. Everybody go ahead. This only matters for Raazu, but 2 more long rests over the course of the next 2 days in case you guys want to make any rolls or do any downtime actions before the deceit
it
is
does
once
matter
again
for me.
underway.
I'll go ahead and do 2 poison crafting.
Do you
I'll
want
out in the
to?
woods and
Do you want
forge.
to continue your Arcana training,
Yes.
Adrix? Okay, we'll do that. Otherwise, I was just going to.
Piss it away on frivolities.
Yeah, pretty much.
Piss it away on frivolity.
That's my new favorite downtime action.
Where did I put that information?
At some point over the next couple of days, Gwu is called into town and kind of put to the fires a little bit by Tara Ogden. She's going around asking very detailed questions of everybody who has had any dealings with Bob over the past several weeks. And none of you know what Gwu tells her, because none of you are playing Gwu.
Hopefully they kill Goo. I don't like that guy.
And one by one, the crewmen of the Deceit make their way back, having spent all of their gold on ale and horrors. And the Deceit gets underway once again.
Bricker, before we leave the city,
Yeah.
Raazu would talk to Yashnars about Osprey and like what sort of rituals does he observe?
Make a religion check.
That's only an 8.
A lean 8.
Yep.
You have some knowledge of Yashnars, primarily from Adrex. Speaking with Adrex, Adrex seems very fond of the young orc, and he definitely seems skilled at what he does. And there's most of the crewmen. You work closely with them, being a quartermaster's mate.
Can I go ahead and blip that? I'm gonna put 2 blips on that and get a better roll. Okay, that's a lot better. That's a 23.
Okay. The reputation amongst the crew is that Yashnars has lots of little queer rituals that he does for reasons unknown to most of them, because most of them don't concern themselves with his weird religion. But whatever he does seems to work. And Yashnars doesn't avoid the subject with you. He never seems totally comfortable talking about it with you. But he walks you through some of the little rituals that he does, some of the prayers. The prayers that he gives you, that he speaks, are all in Orcish. And what you come to realize over the course of this these talks is these are sincere rituals, these are sincere prayers, but a lot of them, you see a lot of improvisation. He hasn't had a lot of guidance or training. He wasn't brought into the religion by a priest of Osprey who trained him. His awakening was similar to yours, except he didn't die. He was about to. He was marooned on an island and had to survive on his own, and it was through Osprey that he did so.
Okay, then having known that, Raazu, she's going to go into town and buy a pound of whatever kind of weird hallucinogenic stuff that she has that's available in town. And then in a month's time, she's going to use this in a ritual that she's going to kind of devise herself.
Okay. Now, it's funny you should say hallucinogens, because the opium den in town where Windy and Sweetie Bird went was destroyed by the tidal wave.
Yeah.
Which means it was heavily looted, which means you can get these materials for relatively cheap if you're willing to buy them off of somebody who stole them from the proprietor of that shop that was destroyed. So how does Raazu go about coming into these goods? Does she buy them fairly at the open market, or does she find somebody who looted this hallucinogenic opium den after it was unfairly destroyed by a tidal wave you kind of caused?
Raazu had absolutely nothing to do with it. She was dead for the whole period.
Sure, you can tell yourself that.
No, she would try to go through the legitimate means first before resorting to more unsavory methods.
Okay, she wants a pound of these materials?
Yeah.
Make a charisma check.
Charisma check of... That's a 9.
A 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Aren't you a paladin?
I am, but I rolled like a butt.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
300 gold for a pound of these various hallucinogens.
Okay, I don't have that much money.
Could have been worse. You could have sold your shit.
Yeah.